Hey everyone, AIM9 Guy here. Join me as I take this Airfix 148 scale Westland Lynx and backdate it to a Gulf War desert cat named Sophie, a tow-toting lady from the 654 Squadron that made an impact, knocking out a number of Iraqi vehicles during the opening days of Operation Granby. In this video I start with the major hurdles, studying my references, converting the rotor blades, and getting it ready for paint. Let's get started! So let's start with the kit. Airfix did us a huge favor by recreating this subject in 148 scale back in 2012. There have been a couple of reboxings, some with commandos and a scout car, but for 148 scale this is the only game in town. Before this kit, the only thing you had to work with was a simpler 172nd version or the rare and expensive accurate armor offering in 135th scale. Let's talk about the subject I'm modeling. XZ-221 was one of the tow missile arm variants used in the opening days of Operation Granby. Supposedly this Lynx was the only one to sport nose art in the conflict. Add to that the kill marks on the door, faded paint, and white stripes, and you really have something. The custom decals will be a challenge, and the faded paint will be a blast to replicate. But first, let's talk about the mods needed to backdate this early 2000s variant to an early 1990s Lynx from the starting days of the Gulf War. Because of the options available in the kit, it was important to review the references carefully to know which options would stay, which options would go, and what needed to be changed. So after reviewing the instructions and references, I came up with a list of mods needed to backdate the kit to a 1990s Gulf War Lynx. First, we modify the blades. The burp blades supplied in the kit need to be modified into straight blades. Reversing the tail rotor. The kit comes with the tail rotor going in the wrong direction, so we have to fix that. No extra radar warning receivers on the tail or the nose. There were no chaff boxes on the landing skids, and the infrared suppression system or hot brick was not used. There were concerns that the abrasive nature of the sand would eat up the expensive burp blades quickly, and there would be shortages, so they used straight blades instead. So the first challenge I had was to take the kit-supplied burp blades and cut them into straight blades. I used the grid on my cutting mat to make sure my lines and cuts were straight. Once I was happy with the cuts, I then took a metal file and some sanding sponges and reprofiled the cut areas to match the rest of the blade. Here's a shot of the cut blade versus the uncut blade. So the kit-supplied tail rotor has the rotor blades going in the wrong direction. Additionally, there's some pins that are on the rotor blades that you have to be careful not to damage whenever you're cutting the blades free. Here I used the edge of the mat as a support, made sure I wasn't pressing down on those vertical pins, and cut each of the rotor blades from the rotor assembly. So after cutting the blades, I drilled a hole in the base of each of the blades and also the rotor blade assembly, and then added a small piece of wire into each of the blades so that I would have a good strong attachment point. So here you can see I've trimmed those pins down, and I'll start attaching them to the tail rotor assembly. Just push them right into the drilled holes I made in the assembly, and now I can rotate the blade back and forth. This gives me a stronger joint and also allows me some flexibility to make sure it's lined up the way I want in the direction it's supposed to go. Here we have the tail rotor completed, and now the blades are going in a clockwise direction, just like the reference photo. Here's a little footage of the cockpit. I used the armored seats from the kit and detailed them with straps made from flattened lead wire and added tape details and buckles from the spares box. I tried adding texture to the bottom seat cushions using sand textured paint to replicate the sheepskin padding many of the reference photos showed. You can also see the dust effects I added to the cockpit and cabin flooring using AK Products light dust deposits. For the lower cockpit glass, I attached them with white glue to keep from fogging the clear parts. In the past, if I left it this way, I would risk pushing these parts in while handling the fuselage later in the build. This time I'm reinforcing the glass with clear UV resin. This can be applied in the same consistency as the white glue with a toothpick, and once you expose it to UV light, it instantly cures, leaving a strong bond. I then went back over the glossy resin with flat black. We'll see how these hold up. I hope you enjoyed part 1 of the Airfix Desert Lynx build. The fit of this kit is a little bit of a challenge, but I'm just about there, and I'm excited to start part 2, where we'll paint the exterior, create some custom decals, detail the tow racks, and fade and weather the paint. I want to thank Jake Pilot Sicard for his generosity to let me share some of these reference photos, and I'll leave a link for his excellent D-Storm EU site in the description. I'd love to know what you think of the Lynx build and share what you're currently working on. I respond to every comment. Please like and subscribe as it helps my channel get seen by others, and as always, thanks for watching.